Most people hear Citizen Kane is the greatest movie ever made and immediately assume it's going to feel old. After all, it came out in 1941, that's over 80 years ago, black and white, no CGI, no fast editing, no giant action scenes. So why does it still feel surprisingly modern? The answer isn't because it was ahead of its time, it's because Citizen Kane solved filmmaking problems in ways we're still using today. Take the camera, for example. Watch almost any movie from the 1930s, and the camera usually sits there recording the actors like you're watching a stage play. It gets the job done, but it doesn't feel alive. Citizen Kane is different. The camera moves through windows, it looks up at characters from the floor, it places people far away in the background while someone else talks in the foreground, and somehow both stay perfectly clear. Instead of simply showing what's happening, the camera becomes part of the story. It isn't moving because it looks cool, it's moving because every angle tells you something. When Kane is young and full of ambition, the world feels huge. The rooms are open, the camera glides around him, he looks powerful. As he gets older, those same giant rooms start feeling empty. His mansion is enormous, yet somehow it feels lonely. The distance between him and everyone else keeps growing, even when they're standing in the same room. Nothing about that requires dialogue. You feel it before anyone says it. That's what makes the filmmaking feel modern. Today, directors constantly talk about visual storytelling, showing instead of telling, but Citizen Kane was already doing that over 80 years ago. Then there's the lighting. Modern movies often use shadows to make characters feel mysterious or conflicted. Citizen Kane does this constantly. Faces disappear into darkness, huge shadows stretch across walls, bright rooms suddenly become cold and intimidating. Again, it's never random. The lighting changes with Kane's emotional state. The richer and more powerful he becomes, the darker his world begins to look. Even the way the movie tells its story feels familiar today. Instead of starting at the beginning and ending at the end, Citizen Kane jumps through different memories told by different people. Each person remembers Kane differently. Some admire him, others resent him, some barely knew him at all. That structure feels normal now because countless movies and TV shows have copied it. But in 1941, audiences weren't used to stories built like puzzles. The film quietly asks a bigger question. Can you ever really know another person? By the end, we know more about Charles Foster Kane than almost anyone around him ever did. Yet we still can't completely explain him. And that's exactly the point. Real people aren't simple. They're complicated, contradictory, and impossible to summarize with one story. Maybe that's the biggest reason Citizen Kane still feels modern. It doesn't treat its audience like they need every answer handed to them. It trusts us to notice things, to connect the dots, to think. Technology has changed. Cameras are smaller, movies are in color, visual effects can create entire worlds. But the fundamentals of filmmaking haven't changed. A good camera angle still tells a story. Lighting still shapes emotion. Composition still changes how we feel about a character. Great movies still trust the audience to pay attention. That's why Citizen Kane doesn't feel like a museum piece. It feels like a movie made by someone who understood that filmmaking isn't about showing people what's happening, it's about making them feel it. And that's a lesson Hollywood is still learning today.